And let's face it. Let's face it. The process of 18th October 2024 took 6 hours as a deliberate scheme to defeat each of the principles and values of good governance I have alluded to: transparency, accountability, procedural fairness, and public participation. Who did these violations? We are also here to call people to account. Who did it? Between the time we left Senate around midnight, between the time Senate closed business around midnight of 17th October 2024, and the time we woke up to the presidential communique of 18th October 2024, in that night, the Bishop Oginde-led Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is documented in the President's memorandum to have received, processed, and given a clearance to Honorable Kithure Kindiki. That night. My lords, history is important, and I may not remind you why our Constitution prescribes that our presidents be sworn in during the day. We were all adults, we know where that comes from. It's one of the most autochthonous provisions of our Constitution. And therefore, when things happen in the night, we have reason to have our antennas high. Between the time Senate rose on the night of 17th October 2024 and the time we woke up in the morning of 18th October 2024 to the President's communication to the National Assembly, we were told that the IEBC, which we now know is not properly constituted, has no commissioners, had purportedly cleared Honorable Kithure Kindiki in the night. Whereas we know that justice delayed is justice denied, we also know that justice hurried is justice miscarried. And finally, it must also have been to give public participation in the process under Article 149, Clause 1, some chance. Allow me to submit at that juncture from the very outset that the process undertaken by the President of the Republic of Kenya, by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, which was mentioned in the President's communique to Parliament, to the National Assembly, by the IEBC, that was also included in the President's communique to the National Assembly, and by the National Assembly itself, did not even pretend to have an iota of public participation. Even the pretense of public participation was now taken away. We will demonstrate to you that the process between 1st October and 17th October, the process between 1st October, when a notice of motion was given in the National Assembly, to 17th October, when a resolution was taken by the Senate, had pretenses. I will not say much about KRA because I think KRA can work overnight and we will not complain. But it was that memorandum. The other culprit was the President himself. The President of the Republic of Kenya undertook these clearances overnight, and in the morning had a clear, proofread memorandum. Exceptional efficiency, we celebrate that, to Parliament. Then the National Assembly itself. Now this is curious. The National Assembly itself had called a sitting prior to the resolution of the Senate. The sitting was called prior to the resolution of the Senate. To sit on a day, ordinarily not a day of sitting of the National Assembly, to process a resolution of Senate it had anticipated, the removal of a deputy president from office, and processing clearance or approval of another deputy president. We sit here as judges, we sit here as court assistants, we sit here as advocates representing various parties. I don't know who among us, once we take away the cloaks of the official roles we play, was proud as a Kenyan observing these events as they happened. I don't know who among us was proud now putting on the cloak of citizenship to watch these events unfold at that pace. Fortunately for us, my lords, my ladies, we have a judiciary of Honorable Richard Mwongo that arrested this process in its tracks to give the Constitution a chance to roar. In the far corners of Kerugoya. Fortunately for us, we have the judiciary of Honorable Chacha Mwita, His Lordship, that arrested this process to give the Constitution a chance. Today, you sit and I stand before the judiciary of Honorable Ike Ogolla, Honorable Esim Rima, and Honorable Dr. Frida Mugambi, that has been invited by the respondents to undo that chance that the Honorable Mwita and the Honorable Mwongo gave the Constitution. We don't begrudge them for that invitation. Because under Article 48, they are entitled to come here and make that invitation. Our question is whether the judiciary of Honorable Ogolla, Honorable Mrima, and Honorable Dr. Frida Mugambi will be baited by that invitation. That's our only question. Throughout these proceedings, we shall be looking at you in the eye to ask, will you fall for this bait, or will you stand for the Constitution?